Welcome to Taking the Reservations Out of Dating. I'm your host, Alyssa Camila, and today we're going to be doing an interview with Erin Riley, the owner of Be Bubbly. The really great thing about this podcast is that we get to interview owners and chefs from all different areas and just talk about their story and how they got here and what the importance is of building memories and having experiences. So, Erin, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. It's a Saturday, and it's sunny outside. We're living the dream.
Yeah. How long now have you had Be Bubbly? I know that you guys.
We're coming up on our third year.
Wow.
I can't even believe it. 3 years in August, the 22nd. We actually signed a contract to build March 13th, Friday the 13th, before the world shut down.
And you were skeptical about that?
I thought the world would shut down for a week.
Yeah. Oh my God, we all thought it was going to be
right.
The next 3 years later, we're
So it was kind to us because people didn't have very many options of where to go, and we were open the whole time. So, and we built ourselves almost naturally in a COVID state environment with the booths and everything, the open windows. So it worked out good. We built a lot of friendships over those first 2 years.
Now, I know that you guys are one of the only downtown bubbly champagne or red like winery or a bar, would you say?
I call it a lounge. No, I think a lounge sounds good. I mean, it's what you do when you come here. You relax, you have fun with your friends, you lounge, you experience, great champagnes, sparkling wines from around the world. And, there are a lot of great menus in downtown Napa, restaurants and other bars, but no one has the scope or the dedication to champagne and sparkling wine that we had.
Yeah. Wow. I grew up in Napa Valley, and champagne has always been a big thing. I've traveled to France, and I'm like, have you ever been there before?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I wanted to get back last month, and I just couldn't make it. But I'm hoping before the year's over, I'll get back again. I try to go once a year.
Oh my gosh, that is like a lot of people can't even say they've ever crossed the water.
I know,
at some point. Oh my God,
travel is a big part of my life. I mean, it's part of what inspires.
Yeah. What brings me to that? What inspired you to even start Be?
Ironically, a little intersection between inspiration and desperation. I had seen some bars like this be built. The Riddler, for example, in San Francisco, which is no longer there, which sadly, and Psy in Sonoma, and got the wonderful Fizz in Sacramento. So I'd seen it done, but I hadn't seen it done the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was going, I was post-divorce. I had a daughter that was about to launch. I had a lot of personal things that were kind of making me face my future and figure out who I wanted to be in this next chapter of my life. So I wanted to do something that was positive and happy and brought joy. So,
and you're really capturing that here. She's really capturing it. I mean, the logo itself and just like the decorations, if you could see this entire place, it is stunning. And I was just telling Erin earlier that it has like every corner you look at is Instagram worthy, and I'll have to like put on my story at some point. That you mentioned something about your style and like how you want it to be the way you like it. So how would you describe your leadership?
So I grew up in the South, and I would say that, the reputation there is that we're very hospitable, very welcoming. And I grew up with a mother who had her own a restaurant catering business, and I watched her work, just selflessly and hours and hours and hours putting in, but she was always hosting people. And it always felt like you weren't walking into a restaurant, you were walking into a home. And that's what I wanted this to feel like. I wanted it to not feel like you were my customer, but that you were my guest. My team gets so annoyed with me. I'm so particular about little tiny things like the exact level of the lighting, and if the bathroom lights are turned off so that you can walk in and see the twinkle lights when you walk in. I mean, things that people don't think about. But when you have somebody to your house, what do? You do that walk around, you make sure that everything's clean, the linens are clean, everything's put in its right place, it's dusted, everything's put away, the refrigerator's stocked. So that's what I wanted to bring to this. Here's a sense of home. I say Be Bubbly. We always say Be You at Be Bubbly. I wanted to be very inclusive. I wanted everybody to see themselves here, feel comfortable here. We offer, a variety of things that different demographics will enjoy, and you see everyone here.
Yeah.
And that tells me that it's working.
Yeah. I think something that I was told one time was that the difference between winning and losing is in the detail. So you saying like all the detail that like people might be really annoyed about is what makes you successful. And I have seen your guys's advertisements everywhere. Like right when you guys opened up, I remember contacted me. She was like, "There's a champagne spot we need to go to," and I was like, "Okay, girl." And every night I've seen it when I pass by like downtown Napa. It is always the place to be at the end of the day. It's like where people all.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to gather. I mean, we're here in the middle of Cap Country,
Yeah.
and so many wonderful, beautiful, but heavy to me red wines that I think when somebody comes into town and they go out and they do tasting, it's a great way to finish and clean your palate and refresh. I think it's a great option, after work. It's light, it's enjoyable, it's fun. You've had a big, heavy day, you've been concentrating, you can come in, it's can be bubbly and you can be light, fun. So I think I could follow that. And then, yeah, we've tied in some really fun events as well, so people can be entertained. At the same
Tell
time.
me about the events that you guys have in here. I feel like that's like one thing that I don't really see in a lot of lounges or bars or mostly restaurants. They don't really have, I'd say, events to kind of make an opportunity for mingling and experience things, especially like date nights. Like I want to go on like, I wonder if they have karaoke night or like trivia night, things like that. You guys have that?
We do, and I toy with a lot of different things to figure out really what the mix is and what people want to see when they go out and what they're going to enjoy. We've tried everything from, having live musicians, which my father was a musician in Memphis, so having music as being part of Be Bubbly was always a plan. That's why I built the windows open like this, because in Nashville, where I grew up, almost every lounge or bar you went by, they had somebody in the window playing, and you could stop and listen, and hear them. So we tied that in. We do comedy nights once a month. We have
I love
comedy troupe that comes in the third Thursday of every month, and they set up a stage behind our bar so that everybody can see them. So they move back and forth, and we kind of remove our studs and serve from the back side. And then we have drag show. We just had one last night. Absolutely incredible group that comes up from San Francisco. They perform every third Friday. And then we've been doing a survey slam, which is like a Family Feud style survey game that you play with your friends. So again, from a concept of like friends gathering or dating or trying out something new that's very safe environment. I think that's a great thing to do on Wednesday nights.
And you know what? I think it's kind of hard to go and find things to do, especially like maybe after a couple of dates too. You're like, what do we do now? But without like going to each other's house.
Right.
Especially when you're getting to know somebody.
Right.
And do you live here in Valley?
Yeah. 7 minutes away. I am.
So you're always here all the time.
I'm here.
Do you come here during a lot of the hours too, like the working hours, and you get to see and mingle with people too as well?
Yeah, I try to be the opening person so I can make sure that we're always set up for success. Yeah. We have that the team has everything that they need, and then I can usually find me here through our bubbly hour, which is like till 7 o'clock. Like after that, I'm like, I'm tired. I'm ready.
Yeah. I mean, you work really,
but I only show up on the weekend nights every once in a while just to see how, especially when we have specific events going on.
Yeah,
everything. Yeah, everybody's having a good time.
You mentioned something about your mom starting her own business and like she, as a single mother, raised you guys. Like that's a lot of work. And I think, like, do you feel like she gave you a lot of that?
She did. She worked hard on that. It was a very complicated divorce and a very bad custody battle. And I don't think at the time you don't really realize that until you've gone through it yourself, and then you realize, oh my gosh, what she must have gone through. And for her to uproot herself and move to a state that she was not familiar with so that she could be close to us and share custody and start her own business that she had no idea. It just all came from her soul and to make it as successful as she could and raise us at the same time, I mean, she had me working there, as a child, 13, but I used to go in and like clean up before I'd done a school.
You've always been a hustler.
So you just have to learn that you have to hustle. I find that not everybody gets that upbringing, and I feel for them. That I mean, it's hard when you're doing it, but it definitely feels scary.
Yeah, and look at you now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue.
Nobody does. You fake it till you make it.
I was like, I want to have a fun place and have people drink bubbles. Let's see, that should be easy.
Yeah. And now let me ask you this: so coming from a mother who divorced, do you feel like that kind of put a play on how you feel about love and relationships, especially because I know for me, a lot of the people in my family have all had divorces, and it kind of does put like my mentality different. Where we're like, well, I don't need.
Right. I think if I look at myself, without rose-colored glasses over my history, I can say that I was probably always searching for actually someone, because you grow up without that model. You don't know what you're looking for, honestly. And I definitely, not for the lack of trying. I've had some wonderful relationships. Unfortunately, they didn't last forever, which is fine. I learned and I grew from them, and I respect everybody that I've been involved with. But here I am at 55, and I've found the most wonderful human being, and I was absolutely saying, never gonna happen. I'm done. Don't want anything to do with it.
Once you quit, that it's like it just
And then he presented himself. Yeah. So I do believe that it can be out there.
Now, have you seen any love stories flourish here in Be Bubbly?
Not only have I seen a love story flourish, but my contractor who built all these beautiful booths and all these beautiful tables,
What's your contractor's
Nick Clark,
name?
met his fiance, and they now have a baby. So I have a bubbly baby from here.
You have a bubbly baby.
I have a bubbly baby.
Oh
And since then, I've had many people say, oh, you know where I met her, or you know where I met him. And it was here. I think it's a very safe environment. Single people come in here all the time by themselves, sit at the bar. They never feel like, oh, this is going to be a pickup spot, or I'm going to be uncomfortable. So I think that you can walk in here at any time and see a bar full of people, all men or all women, a mixture, because it's a very safe, comfortable place to be.
Yeah, and I do feel that way. I am in my 20s, and sometimes you just want to go have a nice night by yourself without feeling like you're going to be bombarded by a bunch of people in a way, but also still have the safe space to talk to people and start the conversation. And I like that you said that about Nick, because he contributed to a really big part of creating this whole ambiance for you, especially for Be Bubbly. And like, I can't imagine as an owner and business owners more specifically thinking about your clients' experience. And like at the end of the day, what is the one thing that you need clients to leave with? Everybody, the memory.
Well, the memory is that they had their own experience.
Yeah.
So in our booths, I put 3 words up: unity, love, and bliss. And I said, we all unite here at Be Bubbly with our shared love of all things sparkling and beautiful as we pursue our own personal bliss. And I really try to tell my team, we're not selling wine here. We are allowing an experience to happen organically, and hopefully it's a celebration that they always remember, whether it was just by themselves working in a booth, and they're like, I found a safe space to do that, or they're out with their friends, or they're out with the love of their life. And we cater to their needs, and we make sure that their experience is memorable.
I love that. It makes me want to come.
I know what you should. Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Now, how do we find you other than, just looking up Be Bubbly?
So Be Bubbly, obviously, I think we're the first thing that pops up, but BeBubblyNapa.com is the website. BeBubbly.napa is our Instagram. And my daughter, the most precious thing that's ever happened in my entire life besides Be Bubbly, who's living in San Francisco right now and living her best life. She was the one who said, Mom, you got to get on Instagram. I was like, I don't know what was 3.5, 4 years ago. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. It's like, no, you have to have a presence on that. And I'm very fortunate that my dear friend Mara manages it all for me. And we have a great following. And you can always find what we're doing, what's happening, what's the latest. And we share images all the times of all of our guests.
Yeah.
And they love seeing that. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I was able to look at your guys' show. I was like, oh my God, they are literally.
I had no idea what that could do for us. To help us get known, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard, especially when you're coming up for local restaurants and businesses to come together. And how do they get noticed? And what would you say to that? How would you tell anybody who does want to start opening their own business and do something maybe like under what you're doing? What would be your best piece of advice?
I think figure out who you are and be as authentic as you possibly can. Because there'll always be your close friends who might support you. There'll always be people that'll say, oh, that's going to be really hard, or that's going to be really difficult, or I've done that before and it didn't work. And there are always going to be people who hope that you don't make it because it's a conflict with what they're doing, And so just figure out who you are and be authentic and stick true to that.
I feel like that's so with a lot of things in life too, whether it's, starting your own business, whether it's making yourself, but also in the dating world.
And finding a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do we shape ourselves to the person that we're trying to impress or get to know or meet. Yeah, and eventually they do get to know you. So you might as well just put it all out there, right?
There's a 3-1 thing that people say after like 90 days, the 90-day period, their real colors come out, who they really are. And I'm 100% believe that.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, and we're going on 11 months. We're still counting the months, right? And I'm like, wow, I'm still into you, and it's already, way past 6 months, which is always my cutoff.
Yeah, like it's so tolerant you
yeah,
at this point.
yeah, it's good. I think I'll stick with this one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for so much that you provided. It was really, really great to talk to you. And I really encourage a lot of people to come by and check this place out, whether it's with your girlfriends to gossip about your last day or just to guys have fun with somebody. It's a time to celebrate, and we should be celebrating life all the time.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. Couldn't have said it better.
Cheers. I'm your host, Alyssa Camila, and I'm with Why Not Me, and we are taking the reservations out of date.